Sean here from Kayak Flyer, guys. You've heard me talk a lot on the podcast about cutthroat furled leaders. I've been fishing these leaders for 6 years. They were one of my first sponsors on the show. And this is a problem that I've run into. Last week we had Brandon Moon from Moonlit on. And if you haven't tried a Moonlit fly rod, they're absolutely phenomenal. Fiberglass rods are the only rods Pablo from Juco Flat makes on 90% of the time. Great rods. But anyway, Brandon has a leader as well. This is a platinum big hog furled leader, a very nice looking leader. I just moved it from the front to the back. This leader I believe is 5 foot long. This leader from Cutthroat is 50. This is a 5/6 weight. This is a 7/8 weight. Closest thing we can compare to. I've got an independent tester here today that we're going to go ahead and put these both on the fly rod. We're going to cast both of them, and I'm going to get his opinion because I am biased, simply because of my relationship. So I want to go ahead and get this the right way. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to drop them out of the package. So here's my cutthroat leader that I've used for 6 years. Take it out of the package. And again, it's a loop to loop, 2 loops, a loop for your tippet and a loop for your fly line. And it drops, supposed to drop straight. It probably the way it was packaged and wrapped around, but it really is a quality leader. You just get that loop out of there. And it's got a few kinks in it, but I mean, you know, everything's got a few kinks in it. So that's the leader I've been using for the last 6 years. That's my go-to leader. That's the one I love. That's the one I use. Let's go ahead and look at the Moonlit Big Hog. And again, this is a 5 foot leader, so it's a little bit longer. And it has a tippet ring instead of a tippet loop. I had a fly on me. It's still warm here in October. So we shake this one out, and it doesn't seem to me to have as many kinks. So let's pick up put them side by side. Yeah, we've got a few more kinks in the Cutthroat than we have in the Moonlit. So first impressions on the two, one is definitely longer. They're both braided. There's a difference, and you're not gonna be able to see it on the camera, but when you feel these, there's a difference on the braid. The Moonlit is a smoother braid. That's a lot rougher. And Brandon told me he braids 3 together, 3 different fibers together. I don't know how they do a Cutthroat, but one is definitely smoother than the other. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put these on a fly rod, and we're going to put the Cutthroat on because they're the champion. We're going to put them on first. We're going to go cast what I like to call the pig jig, a great fly for smallmouth, largemouth bass, anything that you want to catch a crawfish on. Great fly, love it. Make it all the time for my buddy Grant, who's going to be the one testing this. So we have an independent tester. We're going to tie this one on. I'm going to take video of him tying it on for you, and then we're going to go cast it. Then we're going to come back, tie the other one on, and we're going to go cast it. And we're going to have his impressions at the end. We'll be back in a second.
All right, folks, the worst thing about fly fishing in my mind is tippet. You know, when you're fly fishing, you're trying to catch trout, and you got the little tiny tippet, and you're trying to fit it through the hole, and you just can't see. I hate tippet. So when we fish for bass, and we fish for trout, sea trout, redfish, anything like that, no tippet. It's all regular fishing line, and I love using tri-lane. So I have 8-pound tri-lane. So what I'm going to do to make it even for this is I'm going to do an arm's length like this of Berkley tri-lane. Now, I have very sharp canines. Don't try that at home. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this is the Cutthroat leader, and I'm just going to tie a clench knot onto the end of the Cutthroat leader, like so. We've all know how to do a clench knot, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or so. Then take it through that.
That's the exact opposite of how I do it.
Well, that's why you lose fish.
And he's not even laughing.
No, because it's the truth.
This is our independent judge, by the way.
A little bit of saliva, All right, there we go. Trim it off. Again, sharp canines, don't do that at home. So that's our tippet, and we're going to be tying on, where'd that smallie pig go? We're going to be tying on Sean's smallie pig, which, by the way, he wasn't lying. This thing is my go-to for all the smallmouth here in Missouri. And matter of fact, I tied a pink one of these on that he tied for me, and I nailed sea trout in Florida with this smallie pig, but it was pink instead of green. And I was the only one that was catching them either. So this smallie pig, you may want to ask Sean to give you a few. He won't charge too much.
Yeah, you could also watch the video here on the Kayak Flyer YouTube channel. So if you're watching this video, just scroll down through them and you can see how I tie the pig jig. Otherwise, yeah, you can hit me up and I won't be too mean to you. So we're getting our fly set up. We're going to cast this. We're going to come back and change leaders. See you in a minute, guys. We are here at the Pleasant Lake Estates with the slightly murky pond on a beautiful October day. And we're going to get a shot of that leader in action. You can see it just lays right out there.
Nope, that was a horrible cast.
That was a bad cast.
But something went for your smallie pig. There we go.
So you're used to fishing this leader. What are your thoughts on it as a whole? I mean, I know you're a fan, but you've never actually reviewed it on camera.
It turns over pretty well, as you see. I mean, we do a little double haul. I'd like to get, I mean, I know what's at the surface right now are these catfish. And if we had like a small woolly booger on, they would nail it. They're not going to hit this smallie pig more than likely. But as you can see, it is turning over. You can see that. I mean, it turns over fairly well. And again, we're using monofilament, you know, we're using that Berkeley trilene as our tippet. We're not using regular tippet. And that's what's so great about these Puro leaders is that they let you, you know, I can put 8-pound test for my tippet. Cast it out there.
And that's a heavy fly too.
Yeah, oh, it is. It's got the big dumbbell eyes. It's heavily weighted.
Now that's not a fly for beginners. Most people would cast that on a 7 or 8 weight. And we've just casted so many of them. You can cast that with a little bit lighter dumbbell eye on a 4 weight, which you've done several times. But
yeah. I've done this on a 2 weight without the dumbbell eyes, but I've been, you know, casting for quite some time. See that turnover? I mean, it got all my line out. So that's what I do like about Cutthroat. It took all the line out, and there's no line left. So we'll see how the other does here in a second. But,
go ahead and give us one more cast. We'll videotape. We were watching you cast, and we didn't see that. We've watched every one of them except for that one. So we'll see one more, and I can probably show folks at home the line here on the ground. You know, the pile of line. Okay, we'll come back over here and
we're going to turn it over. We're going to send it out. Double haul. There it goes.
It just lays right out, turns over great. All right, so we're back up here at the house. We're actually going to switch now from the Cutthroat leader to the Moonlit leader. You guys have heard Grant talk about how much he likes Cutthroat. We're going to see if Brandon's leader lives up to the quality that he claims.
I will mention that you were talking about this. This is a lot smoother. It seems like both of them have great memory, and what I mean by great memory is they don't remember. That's the one thing I hate about regular leaders is the memory on the leader itself. If you kink it up, if you store it kinked, that stays and that memory is there, and you don't get that kink out. With both of these, kink's gone. I mean, you just have a leader. So that's one reason why in 6 years I've never fished a regular leader. I've only fished these Puro leaders, and for 6 years I've only fished Cutthroat, to be honest.
Yeah, so this is your first different leader in at least 6 years.
Yeah, this will be my first time trying this out. So let's and again, the loop to loop connection, fantastic. You got to get the weighted, you know, weighted front line with the loop on it.
It's called weight forward.
Weight forward, yeah. I hate the you know, getting a little tool and doing the turn. Come on, this is just done. All right, so we need to do the same thing with this tippet as we did with the other tippet. Again, we're fishing for bass, so what I use is just your, this is 8-pound Berkeley Trilene. I usually like to use 6 weight when we're in the streams, but 8 weight will do. And we're going to do the same thing, an arm length distance. Remember, I have sharp canines, so don't do that at home. Or you can do it at home. I don't care. I'm just, I don't want to get,
You're not paying their dental bills.
You're right. So,
don't be so judgmental of people.
Now, this one has a tippet ring, and I will say that I love tippet rings, but also, I forget the gentleman's name at Cutthroat Leader that I've conversed with a while.
Should be Mike.
Mike, yeah. He always tells me that the tippet ring is a weak spot, and if you're going after really big fish, you should probably have the loop on the end of the Furo leader as well. So whenever I go for redfish, I don't do the tippet ring because I don't want to lose the redfish. I've caught up to 6-pound bass in that pond that we're about to cast here on tippet ring. So I feel pretty confident 6-8-pound bass are going to survive the tippet ring. But you get an 8-pound redfish, it's a different story, dude.
I'm not a fan of the tippet ring just because it feels to me like that's something else shiny in the water. I don't think that makes any difference for me casting and practicing my cast all day while you're catching fish. But
yeah, while I'm catching, you're practicing. Is that what you're saying?
So
there's some truth to that, folks.
So I'm just not a tippet ring guy, and I'm sure Brandon has some without them, but I do know Cutthroat has a very large selection. So,
but I mean, if you're going for trout, and if like the majority, let's be honest, the majority of us that go catch rainbow and brown trouts, they're under 4 pounds, and this tippet ring's going to do just fine. It's when you start talking about the monster fish, and you know what? If you hook into that monster fish, you just need to play it. Shows you what kind of angler you are. All right, let's go test this one.
All right. We're back out here watching Grant cast, and this is the Moonlit leader, and he casted before I got over there.
Well,
this is a little bit longer leader.
It's a little longer leader.
And it's made for a 7/8 weight.
Yeah, we're doing it
we're using a 6 weight. And so we're going to get Grant's impressions. He's our independent. He has no dog in this fight other than having been a Cutthroat fan.
Ooh, that was pretty good. I'm going to pull out some more line because that double haul, it took all the slack. I'm almost wondering if you don't do a 7 weight on a 6 to help shoot the line. For all you guys that like to shoot line, you know what I'm talking about. There's the double haul. Well, that was a loop that hit my daggum eye there. Could have the fish go after that. All right, let's try this again. It's trying, and again, it may do better on the 8 weight. Of course, you know who's got an 8 weight?
I've got an 8 weight.
I do too. Of course I got an 8 weight. So this right now, believe it or not, is the big bug Cutthroat leader that I use for my redfish when I go to the coast. And this is the 8 weight. So we're going to try the 8 weight big hog from Moonlit. I'm taking the Cutthroat off because again, that's basically all I've fished for 6 years because it's fantastic. And it has caught me lots of fish. So here we go. This is the, let me make sure I got the right one here. It's got the tippet ring. Okay, this is the Big Hog Moonlit. And we're going to put this on. Again, I love the 2 loops because that helps you lock it in there. Take the tippet ring through. Boom, there we are. We'll take our tippet, which in this case, as you know, is the 8-pound monofilament that I use because, again, we're bass fishing. And tell you the truth, I've used 6-pound for trout as well, and it's worked as long as I can get the line into the hook eye. The problem with trout flies is those hook eyes are so small that you got to have tippet a lot of the time. So
bass fishing is for old guys with bad eyes.
Yeah. So as you can tell, listening to me speak, I hate tippet. You've
mentioned that like 4 times.
If someone could invent a tippet that would not kink up as bad as it does and was easy to see?
What about furled tippet?
I don't know. I can't imagine that.
Maybe that should be the next challenge. We're putting them through their paces. Maybe they should challenge each other to make furled tippet. So it's small enough to go through the eye, but it doesn't kink up on you. And you can see it.
That'd be fantastic. Because I've got decent eyes when I have my glasses on, but I can't tie that tippet on there, on those small hooks. I know everybody's got the magnification glasses and they use them, but that's just one more thing I don't want to carry. But I guess I'm going to have to, especially when I'm, 70 years old. If I still want to be fishing, I'm going to have to do that.
I think we found the reason why you can't see when you're fishing.
It's not that. It's probably the Negro Modelo you brought me earlier.
Good beer.
See, that one goes right through perfectly. No problem.
Well, that's a size 2 jig hook. So that's a lot different than a size 22.
Well, I guess I should only fish for 20-pound browns and I'd be okay.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of YouTube channels out there dedicated to those guys, but every time we go to Cotter, we just catch the dinks, the 18-inch dinks. We don't catch the big 32-inchers.
But I caught a lot of dinks, and that makes me happy.
Huh. Whoever thought you'd call an 18-inch fish a dink?
Well, if it's not 30 inches, I guess there it is a dink. All right, let's go see how this casts.
All right. This is the 8-weight. The Moonlit is made for a 7/8 weight.
That turned over. That was beautiful. It obviously needs to go with the proper rod because I was having trouble with the 6-weight. But I mean, again, this is a heavy bug. Oh wow! Look at that. We're gonna pull out even more line. Look at those catfish. They want to know what's going on. They're coming over here to see it. Maybe we can hook one of them. Okay, Sean, I want you to take a look at all the line I have on the ground here. Okay, and let's see how this does. You see all the line now? Now put it towards the turtle head out there that just went under.
Yep. Right on it.
Look how much line's left.
None.
That's impressive. And it turned over that 4-foot monofilament leader with that big heavy bug. This is good leader. This is the Moonlit that I put on here?
Yeah.
This is good leader. This is impressive. I mean, I can see myself in the marsh fishing for redfish, seeing one move, double hauling, and look at that. See how it's straight? See how the line is straight all the way? And it turned it over perfectly. There's no, it's not hitting behind it. A lot of times you'll see when a leader has trouble turning over the fly will land behind where the leader connects to the fly line. This just turns it over. This is beautiful. So I mean, I would say that what I'm getting here on my 8-weight is better than what I was getting with the Cutthroat on the 6. But again, apples to apples, I should really try. See how that was a bad loop on my part. I could feel it when it was leaving. That, the 8-weight line is going to have something to do with it because, of course you'd cast a little farther, a little easier with the 8-weight line. But this thing is turning over very nicely. Oh, you see it slipped out of my hand there. I'm getting so excited. That's when I cuss when I'm on my kayak and I miss the redfish because I do that. Oh, you're going to get in my back cast?
No, I'm going to stand right here.
Going to get in the danger zone?
That was pretty.
It was pretty, but the loop itself closed at the end. That was the caster, not the leader. That was my fault. So let's do this again. Let's look. Okay, you see those bubbles? Point your camera to the bubbles. Okay, see the bubbles coming up by that rebar? Okay, let's see how this turns over. I'm going to aim right for those bubbles. Let's say that's a redfish or a bass we're sight fishing for. see that? I hit the bubbles. It turned right over in them. Let's look for something else to pop up where we see how it does with shooting, aiming. That's the problem. I need another turtle head. And I can't reach that one.
As long as you're not prairie dogging, we're all right.
But you see it. I mean, okay, you see the bubble again. Look at the bubbles. See the bubbles coming up right there? Let's say that's a redfish. I'm in the marsh. There's the bubble. I just saw a new bubble come up. That's my redfish.
Right in front of its nose. Dragging it right in front of its nose.
Turned over perfectly.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to tell you that we need to go and wrap this up, because otherwise you're gonna stay here and cast this all day. You're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, this turns over great. This turns over great. Look at that. Look at that. Oh! All right, let's go back in.
All right, we're walking back to the house. Beautiful, beautiful October day here in Southeast Missouri. What do you think, Grant? 80, 81, 82?
79.
79? You can't get any better weather than this unless you're in Louisiana. I'm just telling you that right now. We're going back. I have not spoken to Grant about what he prefers as far as which leader. I know he likes his cutthroats. We're gonna check it out and see what his final thoughts are on what he believes to be the better of the two, and we'll be right back.
All right, so we cast both leaders. We did the fair thing, I think. We cast them both on the 6-weight. The Cutthroat did better on the 6-weight, without a doubt. And I think part of it has a reason because the Moonlit was made for the 8-weight. So we went and got the 8-weight. It balances the 8-weight perfectly. I don't know if you saw, but there were some times where I saw some bubbles come up, and I was able to put this heavy fly right in the middle of the bubble ring, and it turned over basically about 4.5 feet of monofilament, and that's the tippet I'm using, monofilament. That's what I always use when I bass fish or my saltwater fishing. I never put regular tippet on because, as you'll guess from all these videos, I hate tippet. So anyway, my honest opinion is, you know, I will be trying some Moonlit leaders. I'll be buying some. I will also continue to support Cutthroat just because I've been using them for 6 years. But I think that it's going to take, you know, fishing them both for a while to see which is better. I think they're both a great product. They both do what you want. They turn over big bugs. If you're fishing for big fish, you need a leader that's going to turn over big bugs. And regular leaders suck. I don't care what you say. Regular leaders suck because they keep the memory of the line. And when they're all kinked up in that package for 2 years, wait on the shelf for somebody to buy them, and you open it up, it sucks. It takes you 30 minutes to untangle it, to get it straight. These spheroid leaders come out of the package. Even if they are kinked up, you're ready to fish in 2 minutes. So I will never go back to a regular leader, ever. I will always use spheroid leaders because I get 6 to 8 months with one leader versus a month with a regular leader. And they're just fantastic products. So I will be using my hard-earned money to buy both products. But I got to tell you, I am extremely impressed with the Moonlit 8-weight leader on my 8-weight rod. Spot casting, there's a lot of folks, you know, when you try to spot cast with a fly rod, it's not like a bait caster where you can put a ring out in the lake, and with a bait cast, I can hit it every time. I'm hitting these targets with my fly rod with that leader from Moonlit. So that says something. It's pretty damn good. So, yeah, he'll be getting some money from me.
All right, gang. Sean from Kayak Flyer. Check us out. We've got the podcast going on. We've live Monday nights at 8 p.m. on Facebook.com/LoseTheRadio. I did not cast today, so I still have not casted the Moonlit. Like I said, this is an independent video. Brandon was super cool and sent me some to try out. I think that both of them are probably going to be a quality product. I need to get out on the water and decide what I need to do. You heard Grant and his comments there. I think he's sold on the Moonlit. I don't know that just casting, 50 times on 2 different fly rods is going to make or break the deal, but he's definitely interested in them. Check them both out, guys. I can't say anything. I mean, Cutthroat's a sponsor. Brandon may come on as a sponsor, so I'm really independent on this. But go ahead and check out Kayak Flyer. If you like the YouTube channel, you'll love the podcast.